Rajesh solved 80% of the questions in an examination correctly. If out of 41 questions solved by Rajesh, 37 questions are correct, and of the remaining questions, out of 8 questions, 5 questions have been solved by Rajesh correctly. Then find the number of questions asked in the examination. Now let me first explain this question to you before moving on towards the solution. Let's see what the question is trying to tell me. So we are given that Rajesh solved 80% of the question in an examination correctly. Alright, this much is clear. This is the simple statement. Now moving forward, if out of 41 questions solved by Rajesh, 37 questions are correct. So that means that if Rajesh has solved 41 questions, out of those 41 questions, 37 questions are correct. 37 are correct. Moving forward, and of the remaining questions, so we don't know how many questions are remaining. It is just given that out of the remaining questions. Okay, so we don't know how many questions are remaining. Out of 8 questions, 5 questions have been solved by Rajesh correctly. So we don't know how many questions are remaining. So out of the remaining, every 8 questions, so if he solves 8 questions, 5 have been solved by Rajesh correctly. So out of 8 questions, he solves 5 correctly. We don't know how many are remaining. Okay, so out of again remaining questions, so he again solves 8 questions. Out of those 8, 5 are correct. Again he solves another 8 questions. Again out of 8 questions, 5 are correct. And this keeps on repeating because we don't know how many questions are remaining. That is what the question is telling me. Alright, and the question is asking us, solved by Rajesh correctly, then find the total number of questions asked in the examination. So we have to find out what is the total number of questions here. Now pay attention. We are given that 41 questions has been solved. After those 41, every 8 questions solved by Rajesh, 5 of them are correct. And this 8 is repeating, we don't know how many times. Okay, so let's say this 8 is repeating x times. So how many total number of remaining questions are there? 8 is repeating x times. So this 8x will give me the total number of remaining questions. So what will be the total number of questions here? Total number of questions here will be this 41 questions plus this remaining questions, which is 8x. So this gives me the total number of questions. Now how many correct questions are there? How many correct questions are there? This 37 questions plus, now this 5 will repeat the same number of time. This 8 has repeated because out of every 8 question, 5 is correct. So 5 will repeat the same number of time. This 8 has repeated, so 5 will repeat again for x times. Okay, so we get the total number of correct questions solved by Rajesh is 37. This 37 plus 5x. All right, this much is clear. Now this was the important part of the exam of the question. This was the important part of the question. Rest of the solution is fairly easy. So now moving on towards the first statement. Rajesh solved 80% of the question in an examination correctly. So he solved 80% of the questions in an examination correctly. So what does this mean? If there are 100 questions in the examination, if there are total 100 questions, out of those 100, 80 have been solved correctly. Okay, 80 have been solved correctly. So that means after simplifying, we get 24s are 25s are. So we get, if there are 5 questions are there are total 5 questions, 4 of them are correct. And we know that there are total number of this many questions, 41 plus 8x, and correct questions are 37 plus 5x. So what we do is we'll divide total correct question by total number of questions. So let's do that. We get 37 plus 5x divided by total number of questions, which is 41 plus 8x. Now this is the ratio of correct question is to total number of questions, but we already have that ratio. We have that ratio, which is 4 by 5, because 4 is the correct one, 5 is the total one. So this ratio is equals to 4 by 5, right? This is the correct question and correct is 4. This is the total number of questions and total is 5. Now we have our equation here. All we have to do is now find out the value of x. Let's do that. This 5 will go here. So 37 into 5 will give me 185 plus 5 5 is 25x is equals to this 41 plus 8x goes on the right hand side. So we get 164 plus 8 4s are 32x. Now this 164 goes on the left hand side. So we get 21 is equals to 32 minus 7x. So 7 1s are 7 3s are, so x is equals to 3. Now we have got the value of x, which is equals to 3, and the question is asking us find the total number of questions asked in the examination. So we have here total number of questions, which is 41 plus 8x. So let's solve this. 41 plus 8x, x is 3, so 8 into 3 is 24, and 41 plus 24 gives me 65, and this is our required answer. So that means there are total 65 questions in an examination. So here option B is the correct one.